All right, Rock Addicts, this is DJ Rem from Rock Addict Radio, and I have Patrick from the band Trillion Red. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good, thank you.
Very cool. So, if you can, let's start with introducing yourself and the other members of the band and what people's spots are.
It's a relatively short introduction because I'm the only guy in the band. I'm a DIY, as some people call it, a do-it-yourselfer, or a solo multi-instrumentalist. My name is Patrick, and I do the guitars, the drums, the bass, the keyboards, the mixing, the recording, everything but the mastering. So from A to Z, or A to Y, so to speak, I do everything, and then I lend it off to somebody else for the mastering.
Well, that's very cool. I mean, the fact that you can do all the different instruments and everything, I mean, there's some talent, buddy. Good job.
Yeah, it takes some time. I originally was just a guitarist. Started playing guitar when I was about 11. I'm 35 now. I picked up a bass about 6 years ago, and the keyboards, and started fiddling around with the guitars, keyboards, and bass, and went through several drummers. For various reasons, none of them worked. Either they were too busy, had other obligations, or did too much drugs, or yada yada yada. So I decided I need to take it in my own hands, and I'm doing the drums now myself. And to take it even further, I bought all my recording gear and equipment so that if I do ever got signed, which I have, I don't need to be held to the whims of a label's budget, and I can do exactly what I want. So it's pretty much ultimate freedom. I love it. I mean, I can go in any time and do anything I want.
That's very cool. So how long has Trillion Red been around then, this particular project?
Let's see, at conception, probably about 6 years when I first started writing the first tunes for the EP that I released last year on Bad God Music. Yeah, it's about 6 years.
Okay, very cool. And I have to tell you, the sound that you have is very unique. I don't know if I've ever heard another band or artist that sounds like you, which I think is amazing and cool because everybody sounds the same these days. So very cool. It's impressive.
Yeah, I have a big issue with the redundancies in music, and whether it be rock, metal, pop, anything and everything. It's one of my hatreds, actually, when I hear. I understand if you're just making money for the sake of making money, but when you're trying to contribute and you're just adding more shit to the pile, it bugs me. So I like to, for me, contributing to the music sphere means inspiring people, and I think in order to really inspire people, you have to make new sounds and challenge people. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. It's a lofty kind of goal, but I think I'm getting there.
Yeah, I think you are too, and starting tonight, I'm going to start getting you airplay on my radio show, and I'm also going to throw you into the 24/7 stream at the station, so you'll be getting airplay every day.
I like to hear that. Cool.
Yep. So, what kind of influences did you have in your growing up and in your life that made you want to do something like this? I mean, what got you into this?
It's kind of a long story. I have been a metalhead since I was a kid. I started listening to Metallica when I was, in Sepultura and all that stuff, and then I went on to black metal, the second wave of black metal, and death metal. Actually, it was death metal, first wave black metal, then yada yada yada, and so I was a big metalhead. And then as I grew older and matured, I started branching out into other things like indie rock, jazz, blues. I'm into a lot of genres, but I've noticed, as much as I try and like the happier stuff, I've always been leaning toward the fringe, dark, and moody type of music. So if it's indie, it's probably going to be a band like Shiner or Joy Division or Killing Joke. They're not really indie, but you get my point. And
right.
So I've been in some old bands, when I was 16 and 17 writing black metal, and that when I picked up a guitar again about 10 years later, which was about, I think when I was 29 or something like that, I decided I wanted to do something more rock oriented, but I really wasn't sure. So I basically just started writing songs. and some of the new influences came out of me, and some of the old traditional stuff that I like came out of me too. And what I ended up releasing a 4-song Trillion Red EP, and you can kind of hear that it's a little bit of both. It's not very cohesive. It was kind of a brainstorming session, trying to kind of find Trillion Red's identity. And I think I did that. After I did that release, it took me about a year or two of incubation period before I'm like, I like this, I like that, I don't like that, and this is what I want to do from here on forward. And that's kind of how this album Metaphere has kind of spawned.
Very cool. And so how long, maybe you've already answered this, how long did this current album take you like to write and record and get it ready to be played?
Writing some of the Sin Forecasting is a really old song. Parables of Meditation is pretty old. Parts of it are. Even prior to the Two Tongues EP from 2 years ago. So a lot of the material is really old, so you could say 5 years. But really, when I decided really what I wanted to do after the Two Tongues EP, I decided a kind of sound I wanted. I had to go back and kind of cut and paste, well, not paste, but cut and rejigger a lot of what I had written so it's more cohesive and more uniform. So the whole process for a lot of these songs, some of the songs I wrote literally in like a month, and some of them years. So it really just depended on whether or not I thought it was complete. As far as the mixing and the production, that was a long story. I had a drummer and I didn't, and I learned the drums. So the whole learning drums thing and editing that and recording that took a little bit of time. So I'd say probably a good year and a half worth of time to actually produce the record. And then the mastering was really quick, so about a year and a half on that end.
Okay, very cool. I love the fact that you were like basically at a point where you're like, okay, this drummer thing's not working, so damn it, I'm just going to do it myself. I think that's sweet.
Drummers are very difficult to find. I mean, the guitarists and the bass players are so ubiquitous, and there's way too many of them, but there's not near enough drummers. But drummers have a very special mind, I found, and it just seemed, to me, the ones that I've met have been very, they want something specific, but they'll do anything. And this is not speaking of all drummers. And then I find a guy that's really, really good. He's got other commitments. And so it's just so hard to find a decent drummer that you can get along with that's focused on what you want to do. It's like nearly impossible. And I live in San Francisco, and there's a lot of good music here, but there ain't a lot of drummers. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm glad I did because it's turned out wonderfully.
Yeah, I think it sounds really, really great. Like I said, it's so unique and cool. Your sounds. I find myself when I sit there and listen to it, I'm just like, I'm not sure what this is. I've never really heard this before, but I really like it. If you know what I'm trying to say.
No, that's good. That's music to my ears. That's what I want people to say and think. When they listen to it, it's supposed to spark your imagination. And I think that sounds like it has done that to you. So that makes me happy.
Yep, definitely. So, how did you come up with the name Trillion Red? Where'd that come from?
That took a long time too. Let's see. So the process of making a band name that's like Trillion Red. So the idea of Trillion Red, taking the name aside, is something kind of that you can't put your finger on exactly, whether it be the lyrics, the mood, and the flow. And it took me a long time to find a name that wasn't cheesy, wasn't too bold, too simple, too complex. And I like using specific words that kind of run well together and sound good together. And you can't quite grasp what they mean, but it's kind of fleeting, and you're always trying to chase the meaning. And so those two word combinations just popped up one time through a brainstorming session, and you could look at the name. Most bands say, well, what do you think it means? But I can give you a couple of my own interpretations. One would be trillion obviously is nearly infinite. It isn't with their budget, but it's a lot, to put it simply. Right. And red would, I think, is a very strong word. It's a very strong color. It's one of the few colors that can symbolize death, love, lust, fire, Valentine's Day, Republicans. God help me. So it symbolizes many, many things. And so the words put together kind of symbolize a infinite potential for the dark, the love, lust, blood, etc., etc.
Okay, very cool. So where's the best place for people to go to find out more about Trillion Red, to hear some tracks and just get to know what you're all about?
My website, www.trillionred.com, would be a good place to start. I use Facebook to update people on current press reviews. I probably update my Facebook more than I do my website, just because it's a lot easier to post something on Facebook. So if you want to check out the music and check out my bio and kind of the philosophy of Trillion Red, you could certainly go to www.facebook.com/trillionred, no spaces or anything like that.
Okay, and then can they, if they want to buy the album, can they purchase it at the website?
Very good question. One of the most important. Yeah, so the best place to go to buy the album would be badgodmusic.com. That's the record label, and they have it on Bandcamp. You could buy a digital download version, or you can also buy a CD from Bad God Music, and we're hoping to release it on vinyl sometime soon.
Oh yeah, that'd be slick. Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have any merchandise for sale as well?
Yeah, we have one T-shirt from the Two Tongues EP. The T-shirts are also at Bad God Music.
Okay.
I think they go for about $15 or something like that.
Okay, normal T-shirt price. Cool.
Yeah, and then there's also Bad God. Bad God did the Two Tongues EP as well. So you can, if you like Metafear and you wanna check out the EP, it's he's got it via SoundCloud digitally or by CD.
Okay. Before I forget, I also want to give a shout out to Clawhammer for hooking me up with you, because those guys are badass. I dig them.
Yeah, they do a great job, Scott and Ryan. They really work their asses off. They have so many bands that they promo, and it's surprising the amount of work that they get done.
It is, because I'm on the end of all their promo stuff they send out, and I'm like, it's just like, it's almost overwhelming to me, so I can't even imagine for them putting it all together, you know?
Oh yeah, they're writing up the promos and probably dealing with a lot of stuff from the labels and band questions, and then they have full-time jobs too. So
yeah, right.
Hopefully they're getting a little bit of return on their efforts, but I think they do it more out of passion than they do for the money.
Yeah, and that's the thing with this business. I mean, for me, this is all passion. There's no monetary reward. I wouldn't even want monetary reward, because that would take the fun out of it for me. But if you don't have the passion, it's like being in a band. If you don't have the passion for it, it's not really going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I would certainly like some return for all the money I put into it, but it's not. I'm like you. I didn't do this for that reason. That goes without saying. When you hear that type of music, you're not thinking, well, this guy's just trying to make a hit,
Right. Well, but I definitely wish the best for any band I talk to that I play their music. I hope that the interview and playing their music, even if that helps get one person to buy their CD, I feel like I've helped a little. So I definitely hope that the bands make some money off it, because it costs you guys a lot of money to do what you do. I understand.
Yeah, it's for me, I call it my very extremely expensive hobby.
Yep, exactly. That's what my wife calls what I do.
Yeah, from their perspective, it's toys and tinkering around with things, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I guess I'm kind of curious, who mastered the album for you?
A great guy named Mike Wells. Mike Wells Mastering in Los Angeles. He was up here in San Francisco. He got a great setup, a lot of analog, really cool, custom-made equipment for mastering. He does a lot. He grew up and lived on metal, so he does a lot of things. So he just doesn't do metal, but he gets what I'm doing, and he really does a good job.
Oh, very good. So, okay, this is just more of a general question for you. If I grabbed your iPod or your MP3 player, however you like to listen to music, what kind of music would I find you listening to right now?
Let's see. Two things. Lately, it's been every morning. Not every morning, but almost every morning. I go running early in the morning, and I usually listen to death metal or black metal to kind of pump me up. And there's some old school stuff on there, like crap. Who I've been listening to lately. Usually when people ask me these things, I go blank. Let's see, Dismember, Unleashed, Order from Chaos, Lord Diabolus, a lot of old black death metal stuff. And then when I'm in the car at work, I have a song playlist called Anything But Screaming. And that's let's see. I've been really listening to this band called Manila Road, which is a real cool metal band, but it's more heavy metal, new wave British invasion type of thing. Shiner is one band that I like a lot that I'm listening to. Chelsea Wolfe, I think her name is. Doves, a band called, a solo artist called Monolake. He's an electronic solo artist, really cool. Let's see, some classical music, some Shostakovich. I have so much stuff on my iPhone, and I'm really random about it, so it's hard for me to think of anything.
Hey man, that's all cool. I tell you what, not to talk about me, but I went to a jazz concert this past weekend for the first time ever, and I swore I wasn't a jazz fan, and well, I'm wrong. I'm a jazz fan now.
Yeah, it's got to be that right thing, you know. Yep. There's a lot of jazz out there that's just like, but then there's a few artists that I just totally love. And seeing jazz live is a totally different experience. Yeah,
it is. The energy they put into it, holy crap.
Oh yeah.
And not that all artists don't put energy into what they do, but it was pretty cool.
It's definitely a different vibe. Yeah, the jazz is. Medeski, Martin and Wood is a big favorite of mine. Miles Davis, of course, some of the old legends and stuff like that. Those are really cool. I think out of Germany, I can't remember the name. Very dark and very simple, but yeah, jazz is really cool. It's fun.
So what do you do to relax when you're not making this music? What do you like to do to recharge yourself, to keep yourself focused?
Actually, that is what I do. Is when I'm not playing with my daughter or working or running or doing whatever, I usually spend my very limited time on either listening. I'd say actually back that up. I'd say listening to vinyl records is what I like to do as relaxation.
Very cool.
Yeah, I just bought myself a new overly expensive record player that only makes a slight difference since I bought it, so I was kind of regretting it. But just sitting down and putting on records and listening kind of amps me up and recharges me.
Yeah, I tell you what, that sound from vinyl, man, you just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, it runs through a tube preamp, and it's warm, and it's not as clean as a CD, but it's definitely more lively.
Right.
It's dry.
Yep. Very good. Very good. So I guess, what are you hoping to accomplish? I mean, where do you hope to be in a couple of years with this? Do you have like some longer term goals?
It's been tough trying to get the Trillion Red name out there and get any kind of recognition or notice, and so with this release, my hopes are that one of my main hopes is that I can hit or touch enough people with this music and let people know, hey, there's a new or different way of doing things that's just not bizarre. You don't have to keep listening to the same old thing. That's kind of, I would suppose, more recognition for the efforts that I'm putting out, or more people to acknowledge that, it is possible to make up new sounds that, it's just not building on top of another genre.
Right. Very cool. Well, I'm going to continue to do my little part in helping you accomplish that. So I'll continue to play.
I appreciate it. You never know. You might be the spark that lights the fire.
That's, you know what? You're exactly right. You never know what that one little thing is that's going to do it. So you take what you can get, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's guys like you that make this, work and make it possible. I mean, if I only had a couple fans, I'd still do it. I mean, it's not like I need a trillion fans. With incidental play on words, I don't need a trillion fans to make this all worth it. It's just, it's good to know that I'm inspiring other people, like what I listen to inspires me.
Yep, definitely. So, do you ever I'm not even sure about this. Are you ever able to do anything live?
No, it'd be impossible. Even if I found a worthy drummer and a bass player, another guitarist, and a keyboardist, we could do it. But it's not the type of music I want to play live. It would be like a big porcupine tree event. Like Steve Wilson has the resources and the musicians to pull that off. I just don't, and I have a pretty decent job that I don't really want to walk away from and risk losing. And the idea of playing live is not all that attractive to me. I mean, I really like to go to live shows. And it's just, even bands that I really like, I'm like, it's just not something that I'm big into. So probably, I would say the odds are very, very low that it would ever happen.
Well, fair enough. It's funny that you made the comment about not really that crazy about live shows, because I'm not either, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's not something that really. I'd rather, maybe I don't know what you would call it, but I like to just sit home and listen to the music on my headphones.
Yeah, I mean that's relaxing, unless it's like a particular band that I know is much better live, or probably would be better live.
Right.
Otherwise, I used to like it a lot, and I just maybe it's age. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that I'm married and boring now. Who knows?
Yep, I tell you, marriage and kids, it definitely changes your focus. So
it does. It definitely does. I mean, should I go see that band live? No, I'd rather sit here with my kid and play around.
Yep, exactly. Okay, anything that I haven't asked you that you want to make sure people know about Trillion Red?
Well, I have so if you dig the album, go check it out. It's called Metaphere. It's 11 songs. Listen to it I suggest when you first listen to it, make sure you have time, an hour's worth of time to listen to it from head to toe. Listen to it all the way through. It's a conceptual album in sound, not in meaning, but in sound. So you'll really get the idea of what the music's attempting to do. I'm sure you could listen to one or two songs in random, and they're still good. It's just that it's meant to take you from the beginning to the end, kind of like a story. And if you like it, great. Buy the record. And also, I have a new 4-song EP coming out in a couple months. It's already done. There are 4 songs that did not fit on the record in flow and stylistically, so I left those off for a release in a few months. I just need to mix it, and it'll be finished. And it's definitely a little bit darker than the Metaphere record. It's called Echo Road for Dark Asymmetries. And it's very, very cool stuff. It's not an indication of what I'm going to sound like for the second album, but it's just stuff that I wanted to clean house. It's really good stuff. It's not B songs. It's really good stuff, and I just wanted to get it out there and start totally anew and fresh for the second album, which God knows when that'll ever happen.
Well, good luck to you with that. Okay, so one last thing for you for this. Mm-hmm. I would love a couple of radio tags from you if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'd love to play those before I play band's tracks. So the first one, if you can just say, this is Patrick from Trillion Red, and you're listening to rockaddictradio.com.
This is Patrick from Trillion Red, and you're listening to rockaddictradio.com.
Very good. And then the second one, the exact same thing, but just throw in there that you're listening to DJ REM at Rock Addict Radio.
This is Patrick at Trillion Red, and you're listening to DJ REM at rockaddictradio.com.
Okay, perfect, dude. Totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
The first generic one you made, I'll send that to all the DJs. So.
Cool.
I like to throw that stuff in.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. That's very cool.
Yep. No problem. Thank you. Like I said, thank you again for taking the time to talk to me, and I wish you the best of luck. And when that EP comes out, make sure Clawhammer or somebody gets me a copy so I can play it.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we can we can talk again. That's great. I'll make sure to do that.
Yep. No, definitely. Yeah, I'm down to talking to bands as much as I want to talk. So.
Sure. I'm always game. I don't mind doing this at all. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and with the EP, you're 3 hours behind. So with the EP, when it comes out, I mean, what we could do, if you're interested, we could schedule the interview to do it like live on my Saturday night show. That's something that we can do.
Oh, maybe like a world premiere or something like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. It's about 20 minutes long, so it's not too long.
I definitely would be down for that, And what we can do is we can do the interview, and we could take pauses during the interview and, play a song and then come back and talk for a minute and then go back to the music. I mean, however you want to do it, but that's something we can definitely do.
Let's do it. I'd be down for that. That'd be very cool.
Okay, well, when that thing's ready, you hit me up and we'll make it happen.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Spencer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anything else, let me know.
Okay, sounds good, man. Well, you take care. I gotta get ready for another interview here, so it never ends.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye.